history of hypertension and had not been taking his medication.
And he said he hadn't been taking his blood pressure medication for months, correct?
Correct.
And he told you that he swallowed some pills, right?
Yes.
Approximately 7 Percocet, correct?
I documented, 7 to 9 every 20 minutes or so for a while.
And Percocet is a brand name, right?
Yes.
Is that oxycodone and acetaminophen?
Yes.
And it's used to treat pain, correct?
Correct.
You testified that it's an opioid, yes?
Correct.
So he told you that he had been taking those pills throughout the day, right?
Yes, and I asked him why. He said it's because he was addicted.
He told you he was addicted, and he responded to your questions about taking the pills, correct?
Correct.
And he was able to walk, correct?
Yes.
He was able to stand up.
Correct.
And you wanted him to go to the hospital, right?
Correct.
And he didn't feel like he wanted to go to the hospital, correct? He was resistant to going to the hospital, right?
I know he was real resistant to get on our bed. It was hard to tell exactly what he was upset about.
I'm going to object at this point.
I'm sorry.
Just with respect to going to the hospital, Your Honor.
Yes.
I'm going to limit your question to the question I asked to that. He didn't want to go to the hospital, right?
I'll say yes.
It took some time to convince him to go to the hospital,
Yes.
correct? And you indicated that he told you he had been addicted to opioids, correct?
Correct.
And he had been addicted to opioids at that point for 1.5 years, right?
I am not aware of that.
But he didn't feel like he needed to go to the hospital.
He didn't want to go with us at that point.
And you were referred to your run report, right? The record that you keep in terms of the treatment of patients. You see that up there, correct?
Yes.
And according to your run report, you documented that Mr. Floyd was alert, correct?
Yes.
And that he obeyed commands, correct?
Eventually.
That's what's in your report, right? Correct?
Correct.
And that he had an appropriate response to stimulation.
Correct.
Yes?
Correct.
He wasn't nauseous or vomiting when you were treating him, right?
No.
His respiratory rate was normal. Yes?
It was elevated at times.
You wrote respiratory effort normal in your report, correct?
At the beginning, yes. His effort was normal. It was increased at times.
And throughout your documentation, you wrote respiratory effort normal, correct?
Correct.
At 1334, at 1409, at 1426. All those notes, you indicated that his respiratory effort was normal, correct?
Correct.
He was not in respiratory distress, correct?
No.
His blood oxygen level was normal, right?
Correct.
His pulse was normal, correct?
Yes.
His heart rhythm was regular or normal, right?
Correct.
His EKG was normal.
Correct.
He had a normal rhythm, the sinus rhythm, which is the rhythm of a normal, healthy heart, correct?
Correct.
And you indicated that you had been worried about high blood pressure for the possibility of a stroke, right?
Among other things, yes.
But he didn't have a stroke, right?
Didn't have any indications that we were picking up at the time.
He didn't have a stroke while you were with him.
No.
He was never given Narcan, correct?
Correct.
He didn't stop breathing.
No.
His heart didn't stop.
No.
He didn't go into cardiac arrest.
No.
He didn't go into a coma.
No.
And you took him to the hospital, correct?
Correct.
And he was monitored for 2 hours and released right after, right?
I don't know.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may step down. Sure.
We're already through the first two witnesses of the defense, limited in what they can talk about and testify. We'll be talking more with my guests in a little while as they take a break to explain why the limitations were put on them.
Take a lawyerly 5-minute break, which means it'll probably be 10. But let's go with 5 minutes for now. Thank you.
And an official 5-minute break here, a lawyerly 5-minute break, the judge called it, so we'll head back to the trial once.
So one came to the passenger side and one to the driver's side?
Yes.
So initially you saw one officer to your right on the passenger side, correct?
No, I was up like I'm trying to wake him up, so I'm in the middle, like at the time, when the police were there. That's how I was able to see him too. Just we both looked at the same time.
And when he was, during this time period, coming out from Cup Foods and being in the vehicle, did he complain of shortness of breath at all?
No.
Did he complain of chest pains at all?
No.
And other than being sleepy or nodding off a little bit, did he seem
No.
abnormal to you in any way?
Not at all.
And did he seem startled when the officer pulled a gun on him?
Very.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Any further?
Thank you. While you were in the car, or prior to getting in the car, Mr. Floyd appeared to you to be normal, correct?
Yes.
When he got in the car, he fell asleep, correct?
We talked for a while, then he fell asleep.
And then ultimately, you had to make several efforts to
Yes.
try to wake him up.
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. We appreciate you coming in. You are excused.
Thank you.
And actually, you can go right out the doors.
Your Honor, the defense calls Peter Chang.
So the defense is preparing to call its fourth witness. It's likely to be Minneapolis police officer Peter Chang. There's been some question about his body cam footage. We heard this discussed earlier, that some of it will be allowed by the judge to be shown. Some parts will be cut out. The part they were focused on, the prosecution had concerns about, was when Officer Chang is looking up George Floyd on a computer and information about Floyd comes up. The judge has said that cannot be brought in, so the defense was going to do some editing of that. And here they come now. This will be the fourth witness for the defense, moving quickly this morning, the first day that the defense mounts its case.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Have a seat, please. And before you begin, if you could give us your full name, spelling each of your names.
Peter Chang. First name is Peter, P-E-T-E-R. Last name is Chang, C-H-A-N-G.
Mr. Nelson.
Thank you. Mr. Chang, by whom are you currently employed?
I'm employed with the Minneapolis Park Police.
Are you a licensed peace officer?
Yes.
Could you please describe the training and experience that you have to the jury?
Training, I went through the Minneapolis Police Academy. or prior to that, I did skills for a metropolitan state. Passed my skills. I went to police academy through Minneapolis. After passing the, academy, I went through a FTO phase.
Is that field training?
Yes.
Okay.
And that consists of 5 months. After passing that, I went on the street.
Okay. And you have you spent your entire law enforcement career with the Minneapolis Park Police Department?
Yes.
And how long have you been a licensed peace officer?
About to be my 4th year in August.
Were you on duty back on May 25th of 2020 in your capacity as a patrol officer for the Park Police?
Yes.
And did you ultimately respond to a call at approximately 8 o'clock p.m. to the Cup Foods store?
Yes.
And can you describe for the jury how it is that you became a part of this incident?
I was stationed at a park close by. I heard 320 called out that they were taking out one, I believe, and then I heard a lot of background noises, and I heard dispatch asking for assistance. I was one of the closer squads, so I self-assigned to that call to assist 320.
Now, let me ask you, is it common for Minneapolis Park Police to assist on calls with the Minneapolis Police Department?
Yes.
Okay. Your jurisdiction generally is within the parks.
Yes.
However, you are able to back up or assist officers with the Minneapolis Police Department, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Let me ask you one quick question about your experience. You said that you went to the Minneapolis Police Academy, right?
Yes.
Even though you were looking to become a Minneapolis Park Police officer.
Yes.
Do the Park Police and the Minneapolis Police Department, you have the same academy?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Do you have the same field training process?
I believe so, yes.
And then do you participate in continuing education in service as a police officer?
Yes, we do.
Is that also in conjunction with the Minneapolis Police Department?
Yes.
All right. Now, after you, so you responded to the Cup Foods location?
Yes.
And can you describe for the jury initially what you observed and what you did?
When I got there, I initially stopped in front of Cup Foods, and I observed the 2 officers, 320, across the street. So I drove my squad across the street and parked. I got out of my car, 320, one officer stated they were code 4. I guess got out of the car. I observed, I believe, Officer Kane with one of the individual who I later identified was Floyd. Floyd was in handcuffs, sitting on the ground, leaning against the wall, and Officer Lane was with 2 individuals by the car.
Now, let me ask you quickly, did you know either Officers King or Lane prior to this incident?
No.
Okay. Now, were you asked to do something at that point?
Once I got out of my car, Officer Kane asked me to identify Floyd in our system. So I just went back to my squad car and identified Floyd.
All right. And what happened next, sir?
Once I was in my car identifying Floyd, I observed Officer Lane and Kane assisting Floyd towards their car, which was in front of Cup Foods.
Now, can you describe where that would be Squad 320, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And can you describe where Squad 320 was parked and where you were parked?
320 was parked in front of Cup Foods. They were on the northbound lane facing southbound. And then I was basically across the street on 38th. I believe the front of my squad car was facing eastbound on 38th towards Dragon Walk. Yeah.
Did you then move your squad car?
Yes, once I identified Floyd, I looped, because I observed Officer Lane and Kane assisting Floyd to their squad car. I looped my squad car around and parked in front of their car, their squad car.
So your cars were sort of nose to nose?
Yes.
At an angle, though, right?
Yes.
All right. What happened next?
After that, I got on my squad car. I observed Officer Kane and Lane as pinning Floyd against the squad car, so I wanted to go assist. But once I approached them, Officer Lane told me to go wash the car, and I did that.
And you did that.
Yes.
And then were you, where did you go in relation to the car?
The car was parked on 38th Street, so I basically went across the street to the car.
Okay. And what did you do then?
When I approached the car, I observed the two individuals that initially, when I arrived, I saw Officer Lane with, I guess, reaching inside the car. And I basically just told them to back away from the car, not reach inside or get anything from the car.
So you were monitoring what the two passengers were doing at that time?
Yes.
Was your attention focused on what Officers King and Lane were doing, or was it focused on what the passengers were doing?
It was more focused on the vehicle and the two passengers.
Okay. Now, at some point, did you observe another squad car arrive?
Yes.
And can you describe that interaction that you had with those officers?
I believe that was Squad 330. They arrived coming westbound on 38th. They parked in front of the SUV, and I basically just directed them towards 320, which they were in front of Cup Foods.
Okay. Did you know the officers, either of the officers in Squad 320?
No,
Excuse me, 330.
I'm sorry.
330, not 320.
No, I probably met Officer Tao a couple times, but no relationship.
Okay. And you'd never met Officer Chauvin prior to that?
No.
All right. Now, what happened next?
Basically went across the street, and then I assisted 320. And again, my main focus was just the car and the two individuals.
And as Mr. Floyd and the officers were across the street, did you notice any changes in the area?
Yeah, as there was a crowd, and I guess the crowd was becoming more loud and aggressive. A lot of yelling across the street.
Did that cause you any concern?
Concern for the officer's safety, yes.
Did you go over to try to help them?
No, because I guess my job was to watch the car and the two individuals that were by the car.
Did you know whether the car had been searched at all by officers?
At that time, no.
Were you concerned about that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I am assuming that on this day you were in a uniform similar to what a Minneapolis police officer would wear?
Yes.
So you were fully uniformed?
Yes.
With all of the duty belt and all of the things that are on the duty belt, right?
Yes.
You were driving a marked squad car?
Yes.
And does your department require you to wear a body-worn camera?
Yes.
Was your body-worn camera active and recording this event?
Yes.
Now, have you had an opportunity at this point to review the footage that was taken by your body-worn camera?
I have.
And does that appear to be a fair and accurate representation of the things you observed?
Yes.
Now, in terms of as the crowd or the group of people were congregating around Squad 320, did you notice anything in terms of the tone or tenor of the voices of those people?
They were very aggressive. Yes. Aggressive towards the officers, yes.
Did the volume increase?
Yes.
And so how were you reacting? How were you splitting? How are you reacting to that?
Yes, I was focused on the car, but then it distracts me, and I was concerned for the officer's safety too, so I just kept an eye on the officers and the car and the individuals,
Okay.
passengers.
If we can just show I'm going to show a couple of parts of your body-worn camera. And if you just look at the screen in front of you, does this appear to be your body-worn camera?
Yes.
And I note at the top right-hand corner here, there is a date. What is the date?
May 26th.
Of 2020?
Yes.
And I notice a time here of 1:10:25Z. Do you know what that means?
I do not.
Okay. Are you familiar with Greenwich Mean Time?
No.
Oh, okay. So you don't know why the timestamp, you said you were, what time would you originally estimate that you were dispatched to this call, or that you were assigned to this call?
I'll say approximately 8 o'clock.
Okay. Obviously, there's a time difference here that says 1:10 p.m. You have no idea why that would be.
No.
Now, but it does appear to be your body-worn camera from that day,
Yes.
the same thing that you've observed before.
Yes.
All right. Then, Your Honor, I would move to admit Exhibit 1054.
Subject to the court's prior rulings, 1054 is received.
So we're going to watch about 3 minutes of your body camera here. Permission to publish?
We're code 4.
I got that one at home.
All right, what's your name?
George. George Perry Floyd. I don't know what's going on. I just came over to get my phone.
Spell it for me. Yep.
R-G-E.
Last name?
Floyd. That's not
830 on
F-L-O-Y-D.
F-L-O-Y-D.
Because he's been shot before.
Date of birth? October 14th?
73. Man, I got shot last time. Same late, man.
This day?
Nothing, man. I was a
George Floyd.
I don't want no problem. Ain't do nothing, man.
Now, Officer Chang, does that represent that initial interaction that you had with officers King, Lane, Mr. Floyd, and the passengers of the vehicle?
Yes.
All right. And did you then, in fact, use your computer to enter in the name of George Floyd?
Yes.
All right. And after you did that, what happened next?
Again, I observed Officer Lane and Kane assist George Floyd to their squad car, which was in front of Cup Foods. So I guess looped my squad car around so I could be closer, and I got out of the car, and again, I observed Officer Lane and Kane, I guess, pinning Floyd against their squad car, so I went to assist, but once I approached them, Officer Lane told me to go watch the car.
All right. I'm going to, if we could take this down, Your Honor. And in front of you, Officer, I'm again showing you part of your body camera footage.
Yes.
And it appears to be the same date, after you've run the information and looped the car around.
Yes.
And does this video accurately reflect what you saw and saw that day?
Yes.
I would move, Your Honor, for the admission of Exhibit 1055, which is an approximately 24-minute part of Mr. Chang's body camera.
Subject to the court's prior rulings, 1055 is received.
Permission to publish?
You may.
If you watch that car, just make sure the phone's in it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want you guys grabbing anything from the car, okay? Leave the car alone. Leave the car alone.
Yes, sir.
All right, now.
He just got sick. There's his phone.
All right. Just leave the car alone.
Okay.
2740 Minnetonka. How you doing, Al?
Good. Good, good. Did you guys take out the car?
Get cigarettes.
Cigarettes? You got your personal items?
This is mine. I had it in my hand. This is my phone.
Okay.
His phone in there.
Whose car is this?
That's his friend's car, a female name. I was trying to think of the girl name.
Okay.
Yeah. It's his friend's car. Damn, man.
Who is he to you guys?
Silver.
That's my ex.
Your ex. Okay.
And I just seen him in the store, so he was going to give me a ride home.
Okay.
I just came to get my phone fixed.
He was giving her and I a ride. He was giving her and I trying to get us a ride.
Okay. Just stay put, all right? I don't want anybody near his car.
Is anybody going to check my name? Because my daughter on her way here to get me.
All right, where's the ID?
I don't have it. I gave him my
All right,
number.
why don't you stand right there, okay?
They know who gave him the money. It wasn't us.
Okay.
320, can you repeat that?
Did you guys give my partners their names or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, we already did.
You guys did? Okay. Did he write it down?
Yep.
You wrote down everything? Okay, stay put, all right? Let's see what my partner does.
Damn, he still won't get in the car. Just sit down, dude. Dude, they got to push him in this car. Look, he's fighting to get out.
That's fucking resistance.
What is he doing? Now he going to jail. All he had to do was now the nigga going to jail. Can y'all give him his phone though, please?
We'll see what happens, all right? You guys just stay put. Tell my partners to come back here.
Look, they still fighting.
Hey.
Oh man, what is he doing?
Oh, they going all around. I need to leave. You got a letter? I had one.
You guys don't have your IDs on you?
I already gave him one, man.
Huh?
I gave it to him, man.
Why don't I see your ID again?
I gave it to him.
He has your ID?
Yeah. And I gave him my name because I didn't even
Okay.
get no purse or nothing.
All right, well,
Just came to
just
get
stay
my
put here,
phone
okay?
paid. I know one damn thing. Y'all better go ask Mike because it wasn't us.
Okay. Let's stay further back there, okay?
Huh?
Let's stay further back. What's her name?
My name's Shawanda.
Shawanda? What's yours? What's her name?
Ricardo. William Ricardo, sir.
What is it?
William Ricardo.
Ricardo.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, man. Ask Mr. Adam about me. I just did some business with him, man.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
My daughter. They gave me some too. I tore that shit up.
Give you some what?
Fake money, man.
Who
The
gave it
man
to you?
told me somebody, I don't know, whoever the fuck asked for change or something to get some fuck ass cigarettes, and the man told me, hey, that's fake. All right, cool. You see mine? I tore that shit up right there. And he came out and started telling that dude, yeah. And I told him, the dude told him, and he told him to come back in the car, come back in the store.
But he
So
was
he was trying to
talking.
figure it out.
Yeah, he was like, what the fuck? Why would I, where I'm going to get some fake money from?
If I could ever choose just the melt, 2114 has the melt kind of priority property management and possibly compensating
He over there fighting with the laws and shit, man.
So Ricardo, how are you related to Floyd? How you know him?
He used to do security work at the Salvation Army, man.
How do you know him?
I don't know him. I'm telling you how. Right there.
Okay.
Security work.
So how are you guys together then?
We was getting a ride.
Yeah.
Her and I was getting
I
a
got
Oh,
off
okay,
the
so you
bus.
two are together.
No, I seen him in the store too, but that's my ex. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
How do you two know each other? How do you not know him when he say he's with you?
No, he was getting a ride from him too, and he told me, come on, he'll give me a ride.
Okay. Just stay put then.
I don't need it because my daughter does.
All right, that's good.
Is this her right here?
I'll stay put, all right?
Yeah, because he was fighting. Yeah, because he over there fighting with fucking police.
It's making it more difficult.
Right. Hell, that's
He's making it more difficult.
I know. I think he got shot. Because he was falling asleep a little bit, and then when he woke up, they was up in the door. How you doing? Yeah, and then he started saying, please don't shoot me. He's right. That's why I had my hands showing.
Officer, do you see the individual on the left hand walking by?
Yes.
You had no interaction with her at this point?
No.
You'd agree that this is at 123 and 17Z of your body camera footage?
Yes.
Yeah, I had my hand showing though, but Mr. Adam in the store can vouch for me.
Me too.
We
already
Who's
know.
Adam?
I spent my money. I paid for my phone.
I was getting a laptop and it didn't work, so he gave me my funds back.
Okay.
You can come in and talk to him.
Okay, sure.
You mind if I get my little mask?
Where is it? What is it?
My COVID mask.
Where is it?
Right here.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead. Let's make it quick. Face me.
Huh?
Face me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hold on.
You motherfuckers don't get us in trouble for nothing. I ain't in trouble. I don't got no warrant. I don't give a fuck.
That's good. If you guys are on no warrants or nothing, then after all this is settled, you guys good to go out.
All this is settled. Can't y'all just ask him?
Let's wait. Don't you hear your friend talking? Yelling over there? I can see him yelling and talking over there. He's making
talk
noise.
to the store person.
I'm waiting for my partners. Gotta talk to my partner to see what's up.
He said he knew them too, so I was asking him, did he know them? He said
I know him very well. Yeah, I'm talking about I know the people in the store very well.
Okay, that's good.
212 has the closest available if you could start for an assault at next door to 2313 Washington Street Northeast. There's a black male assaulting a female. Copy.
Officer, I'm just gonna look right here at the door, just see if I left anything right here. Just see, sir. That's it.
All right, let's get. That's it, man, Ricardo. Just the door. All right.
Yeah.
Nobody's come close to us, so right now we don't need a mask yet.
Huh?
So right now nobody's come close to us, so we're good with the mask.
Oh, this is that he called her? Did he call her? Floyd called her? Huh?
Is it a white girl?
Yeah.
She's short.
Yeah, right here.
Stay put, guys. All right.
212 is
I want to be involved in that.
like the suspect is sitting in the
You
suspect.
just let us go.
The victim is crying and the suspect has a gun. He will be using the gun as a female.
They did something to
All right,
him.
let's stay here, all right?
All right, they did something because them motherfuckers taking pictures over there.
Yeah, I'm on the phone. Now everybody recording this shit, man.
5330 EMS is at Portland and 36.
I don't know. I doubt it if he is. This guy here got us. Mr. Chief.
Hello, 330 EMS is 38. Copy, I was just giving you their updated location there. Stay around.
I wish Mr. Chain would just go let us walk in with him with Mr. Adams. Just, goddamn.
Let's stay put here. All right, tell my partners and I'm done over there and they can figure things out. We'll figure things out, all right? Right now, we're grabbing an ambulance for your buddy, for Florida, okay?
Oh, fuck.
So he might have hurt himself.
Yeah.
They hurt him?
He might have hurt himself. All right? Who knows?
Something happened. An ambulance here, everything. Can I just see what
No,
y'all did
this-
to him?
Shawana,
He on the ground and everything.
let's stay over here, okay?
He on the ground?
Yes,
Where?
right here. No, I was talking to the people.
2602 Bloomington.
Shawanda. What's that?
I say, y'all go one of the store guys. there
Okay,
and
let's stay
told
put.
me
We'll figure it out, right, Ricardo? I'm not giving you guys any problems, right?
Why is he going to the hospital? Oh, man.
Shawana, you're not helping.
I'm just trying to figure out what's
And we both know it's
Once my partners get over here, they can explain to you guys, okay?
We got a make on the vehicle. I'm with a tan SUV at Lowry and Fifth.
I'll try to get that. Both going to be out with 22. Copy.
He need his phone.
Where's his phone?
It's in the car.
We'll take the car, okay? Nope, I don't want you reaching a car, okay?
It's right there on the seat.
He'll get to his car once he's done with that, okay? His car is not going anywhere.
Try to get his phone? Yeah. It's right here, man.
Don't go into a car.
It's the front seat, sir.
I don't want you guys going to the car. That's it. Well, once my partners come over here, you guys can ask, right? What? Just go straight, man. It's tight here. You guys good? Oh. I don't know.
Officer Chang, pausing the video for a second, you'd agree that the ambulance appears to be leaving at 1:30:21 on your body-worn cam?
Yes.
I was waiting for the 320.
Well, they did do a call back to get that information.
That shit bogus, bro. You such a man, you about to have dreams. I didn't want to go thing, bro. That's why I ain't saying that.
Here's a book, man. Yeah, are you guys good with these two?
I'm gonna double check.
Here's a book. Here's a notebook.
You want to get his phone? Yeah. In the car? Yeah, it's right there on
His phone. He's already gone. He doesn't need his phone. Is that his phone? Put his phone back.
Yeah, put his phone back. He's gonna.
He's gone already. He went to the hospital.
Tell him where it is.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Put his phone back. That's it.
You know him, bro?
Yeah. What's up?
You might have called his family or something. I watched the whole thing play out. I ain't in. What happened?
So I didn't talk to them yet. You probably did.
Okay. You ran him though?
Nope.
No, that man took our name.
So supposedly your partner has his
What
ID.
happened to him?
All right.
That's your partner. If your partner is in order.
He took your ID? Yeah.
He said
They kept it put on it. They kept it. I don't even know what
what?
I tried to get him. I tried to get him to get in the car. I tried. I told him he can't win. Go on, get in the car. I kept telling him, bro, you can't win, bro. Get in the car. Because I know you can't win.
I don't need anything from them.
They're good?
Yeah.
Okay. All
The two things
right, you guys are good.
The two things I don't fuck with.
Well, he said these two are good, but I'm not too sure about this.
Can I take Sylvia on car?
What?
That's Sylvia's truck. That's our friend Sylvia.
Okay.
Ex-co-worker. Well, let me try. If I get her phone, I can call her and tell her, sir.
Oh, the car's going to stay put right here until we figure it out.
Well, you better lock it because his phone's sitting right there. Can I tell Sylvia?
Just stay put. My partner's going to come back. I don't know what the plan is with the car.
Hey, you mind if I just get his phone? Okay.
I don't want you guys touching the car.
He said we can go, man. I
Officer Chang, you'd agree that the A timestamp on your body-worn camera when the fire truck arrives is 1:32 and 50 seconds Z, correct?
Yes.
I didn't hear anybody call for it. Different call?
We made it for it.
I don't think it's related.
Okay. I think this car, when I got here, the doors were open, so they're involved, but I don't know. So, is he on his 10 days? Or? No, I think they're done. Okay. Are you still red?
What's that?
Still red?
Yeah. So, that turbo is being hostile.
Yeah.
If you could let MFD know that EMS needs the fire needs to go to parking 36 station in the full arrest now.
This also parking 36?
I couldn't say something. You're not a bad. You're good. You know, you're talking to me.
Can you advise the fire department if they're still with you, they need to go to 36 and park with the patient on full arrest?
But no. I gotta get him in the car. I gotta go with you. Huh? Yeah, and I try to get in the car. I gotta help you.
Officer Chang, you'd agree that now the fire truck appears to be leaving, correct?
Yes.
Timestamp on your video is 1:35:06Z, correct?
Yes.
And are subject to the court's ruling. Now, a few follow-up questions here, Officer Chang, for you. It seems to me that you're walking around quite a bit. Can you explain why?
It's pacing back first to make sure that, I was concerned for the officer's safety because of the crowd. So I just want to make sure that the officers were okay.
Did you observe other people at other locations besides where Mr. Floyd and the officers were?
You can say at least one at every corner of the intersection.
Did you observe people standing in the Speedway parking lot?
Yes.
And there were one or two people on the corner where you guys were?
Yes.
And at least one person across the street to the west, right?
Yes.
Southwest corner. Now, in terms of the general area, would you describe that as a pretty busy intersection?
Yes. Traffic and foot traffic, yeah.
So a fair number of cars, vehicles traveling through that intersection?
Yes.
As well as a fair number of people on bikes or on foot walking past?
Yes.
All right. Ultimately, did this pretty much end your involvement in this case?
Yes, that's right.
So you pretty much went back to your regular duties with the Park Police, correct?
Yes.
All right. Based on that, Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Cross-examination.
Good morning, Officer Chang.
Morning.
Just a few follow-up questions for you. In the video we just watched, at one point when you were talking with Officer Tao, it sounded to me like you asked him, "Still red?"
Yes.
What is that? What you said?
Yes.
What does that mean?
If his body camera is still on.
And so you were asking him if his was on?
Yeah.
And that's because you had yours on still.
Yes.
And so, Officer Chang, when you're working for the Minneapolis Park Police, you go through the academy with city police recruits, correct?
Yes.
And at that point, when you're going through the academy, do you know whether you're going to end up in the park police or the city police?
When you first start the academy, you already know who. Sorry, you already know who you're, I guess, working for. Yes.
So, as far as you know, those recruits, you could be working with them someday in the future.
I guess on the straight, I mean, if we patrol the same area or precinct, yes, but.
Right, but when you start, you could end up being a city officer just like them.
No.
Okay.
So when you first start, I guess you already get the offer from the employer. So you already received the offer from Minneapolis Park Police prior to starting the academy.
Okay, now I got it. So when you're in the academy, you know you're going to be park police and the others may be city police.
Yes.
All right. But when you get out there on the streets, while you monitor the parks, you also have authority to assist with calls outside of the parks.
Yes.
So in terms of an average shift, let's say, how often do you do this where you assist on a city police call?
Not often, unless we're close by, unless we don't, I guess there's no calls at the parks, but we pretty much keep ourselves busy with the park system.
But if you self-assign to help a city call, you're not going to get in trouble from your supervisor for that.
No.
Because that's all part of your responsibilities. You're allowed to do that.
Yes.
And in fact, when you're doing that, when you're working in the park police, you have the same radio traffic. You're able to hear the same radio traffic as the city police officers.
Yes.
And in fact, I think we heard you refer to the city officers here as your partners, correct?
Yes.
So when you're there, you look to them as your partners in working this scene.
Yes.
And you would suspect that they feel the same way about you, I assume.
Yes.
Okay. With this particular call, you heard a request for backup, right, on this call?
Yes.
And because you heard some noise in the background, you decided initially to go lights and sirens.
Yes.
And to self-assign, I think, was the term you used.
Yes.
Okay. And at some point, though, on your way there, you turned off your lights and sirens, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that was before you actually arrived.
Yes.
And when you arrived, I think we even heard, as you're pulling up, the officers already assigned call code 4, correct?
Yes.
And what is your understanding, or back on May 25th of 2020, what was your understanding about what code 4 means?
Scene safety.
So it's under control, correct?
Yes.
All right. And when you got there, you got out of your squad car, correct?
Yes.
And you see 2 city officers.
Yes.
And one who you later find out is Officer King.
Yes.
Is speaking with Mr. Floyd.
Yes.
And Mr. Floyd is sitting on the sidewalk against the Dragon Walk.
Yes.
He doesn't appear to be threatening in any way at that time, does he?
No.
Doesn't appear to be agitated or upset in any way at that time.
No.
So right there sitting on the sidewalk, he was pretty peaceful.
Yes.
And when that happened, you never heard the officers call for a code 3 to other officers responding.
No.
So they did not call a code 3, correct?
No.
That's we're doing this question thing. You heard later there was a call for code 3 on the ambulance, the EMS, correct?
Yes.
But there was never a call for code 3 for the responding officers.
I don't believe so, no.
And when you arrived and got out, I assume you were trained to assess the situation, correct?
Yes.
And you did that as you're getting out of your squad car?
Yes.
And when you did that, did you hear Officer King ask Mr. Floyd for his name?
I did, yes.
And you heard Mr. Floyd give his full name,
Yes.
spell it,
Yes.
and his date of birth?
I believe so, yes.
And then you were asked to run that through your system, and you were able to do that, correct?
Yes.
So, then you observed as the officers, Lane and King, walked Mr. Floyd over to their squad car, correct?
Yes.
And that's when you decided to move your squad car over to that area, correct?
Yes.
And your intention there was to help those two officers with what they were doing.
Correct.
But as soon as you got out, they asked you to go watch the scene by the Dragon Walk with the two passengers.
Yes.
And you did that. You then walked back over to that location.
Yes.
And once you walked back over there, you really couldn't see what was going on with Officers Lane and King and Mr. Floyd in front of the Cup Foods.
I believe at that time they were still, still had Floyd against the car. I believe during that time, yes.
Okay, so against the driver's side of their squad car.
I believe so, yes.
But once you walked over to the far side of the road, over by the Dragon Walk, you could no longer see what was going on with Mr. Floyd.
Yeah, yes.
You indicated that the crowd was getting louder and more aggressive, correct?
Yes.
And but you knew that there were now 4 officers over at that scene, correct?
Correct, yes.
And so your main focus was on watching those passengers.
Yes, in the car.
And you assumed when you were doing that those 4 officers were okay over there because there were 4 of them, correct?
Yes.
And if they had radioed for help, you would have heard it over your radio.
Yes.
And they never radioed for help, did they?
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Anything further? Thank you. You're excused. Thank you. Members of the jury, we're going to take a 10-minute break while we check the availability of the next witness. It'll probably be our